So in the previous lesson, Cliptools, we talked about moving the clipping planes and adjusting the clipping plane widths. This one we're going to talk about the other buttons here. So to get these working properly, we're going to have to make a few changes to my drawing. First thing I want to do is talk about the toggle clip. So toggle clip, the way a clipping plane works, it hides everything above and below the plane that has been defined in AutoCAD. So if you define a plane, then you can say everything 5 units below my plane and everything 5 units above my plane, make them invisible so I can't see them. So you can see here my plane right now has been defined and it's set to one unit thick. So if I want to see what it looks like, I can just hit my light bulb, which will turn off my clipping plane, so allow me to see through the entirety of the drawing. If I hit the button again, it just brings it back on, so it toggles it on and off. The next button, this one, query point coordinate. So what this one does is it will give me a easting northing elevation coordinate for a point. It seems fairly straightforward, but you'll notice in AutoCAD here my coordinates down in this corner. I'm not sure if they'll show up in the video, but it's showing me 35,000 by 3,000 by 0. That has no bearing to reality of what this position is in the real world. So when I did an ID on this coordinate, so if I use AutoCAD's ID, nearest point, so let's just get this point right here. So it's telling me, just open this up. So it's telling me that it's roughly 35,000, coordinate 35,000. That's not accurate. So what I want to do, I'm just going to pull this up here. So if I do the same thing again using this command, get my nearest point, now it'll show me the AutoCAD coordinate here, but it also shows me my true easting, northing, and elevation coordinate. Very simple, but very useful to have. Okay. This one just shows me information about my clipping plane. Also, each viewport in AutoCAD has its own coordinate system. So if I go to this top view, you can see I'm set to 0 elevation with no clip. So I'm just going to change my information here a little bit. I'm going to rotate this view so I can see what it looks like in plan view. Okay, so I'm just zooming in here. So here's my view from the top. So I can say I only want to see, let's say, the tops of the drill holes here. I'm just going to go here and say set my Z coordinate to the top of this drill hole, like that. And then I can set my clip. So you can see the elevation now is 37, 27, 18. I'm going to set my clip to 1. And there are all the collar coordinates of the drill holes. Everything below it and above that elevation has been clipped out. Very simple, very straightforward to do. Alright, so what I want to do now is I want to take this drawing and I want to flip it completely on its side. So I'm just going to go left view. Just zoom in on this. Okay, so here you can see I'm looking side on. Here I'm looking top down. So over here I'm looking at a section, but this time I want to see, let's say, everything on this level right here. So what I'm going to do is flip to a top view, or actually this one's a top view here. So I want to see everything near this level as well as the drill holes passing through. So I could go in and set my Z and say set my Z to this viewport right here, and then go in and adjust my thickness so I can see it. I don't know how thick, so let's say 5, and so on. But that's a little tedious. There's a faster way. I can just go to this view and say set this view, and it says which view to set, this one, from which view to set. So I want to set it from this one. I want to see from here, pull my little elastic bands here, just pull it down so I can see this drift right here. So I'll do that again. So this one, so this is the view I want to set. I want to see from here down to here. You can see here's the drift that I've just set right here. Right, very simple, very straightforward way of manipulating your drawing. So I can set one view from the other. Another nice thing I can do is, let's say I want to put a drill hole. So I'm just going to take this and rotate it a little bit. So let's say I want to put a drain hole or something from one location to another. So I'm just going to do a 3D polyline, and I type my command. So I'm just going to turn on my snap. So I want to go from here, and I want to go right to here. Now that being said, I've defined it, but now I want to actually see this view. I want to cut down that drill hole. So I'm just going to take and cut like that and display it over here. So there's that drill hole cut at an oblique angle. It's kind of a weird angle. So let's do this a little bit better. So I'm just going to set this one, set Z to the top of this drift like that. So you can see my drill hole right here, and I'm just going to cut a section right down that drill hole. So I want to go from here to somewhere along here, and I want to display it over in this viewport. So there's that hole that I just put in. Nice thing is once I define it, I can actually move this around. As long as I don't snap anything, I can move it to new locations without it moving its position relative. So you can see it's moved from here up to here. So that's a more steeply or less more steeply inclined drift. I can say, you know what, let's bring this over to this drift over here, like so, which is a more a shorter distance to drill. So you can see the clip tools allow you to quickly manipulate. I'm not physically cutting the objects. I'm just going in and manipulating them and manipulating my views so I can more easily recognize what I'm seeing. If I wanted, for instance, to cut down a drill hole. See, here's one of my drill holes. I can just say cut this from here to here and show it over here. There's the drill hole that I've just defined right there. Now I can go and make a plot of it. I can go in, I can do a section, manipulate a plate, make my wireframes, whatever I need from this point. So the clip tools are one tool that allow you to quickly maneuver and makes working in 3D and AutoCAD possible. Without that, AutoCAD is much more difficult to deal with in 3D. This is one of the tools that we have which makes it much more reasonable to work in 3D. Okay, so that's the end of the clip tools discussion. Next we'll be discussing some of the other tools versus importing drill holes. Okay.